Greetings everybody, it's Rob from Sage Tower Games, and I'm back with another video discussing Fantasy Flight's newest game coming out, Unfathomable, the Arkham Horror / Battlestar Galactica style type of game. And this time they just released an article talking about the characters in Unfathomable. In the original article, we saw a preview of one of the characters, the captain, Kalani, but this time we're going to see all the other new characters in this game. So, as I said, we kind of see Kalani Tatupu, 3 influence, 2 will. And we see they have 2 different skills. One is kind of, I guess, their special ability, and another one seems to be their traitor ability. So, after skill cards are revealed during a skill check, if you're not in the brig, you may add 1 skill card from your hand, so they can kind of help the skill check along after seeing what the results are. And if you're a traitor, you lose 1 sanity, which I'm assuming, because it's not a stat, it's probably some sort of like team sanity maybe. Let's see. Oh, and so apparently we also have a special tool for each character, as well as a special ability or feat. So the tool is a speaking trumpet. Rescue each passenger in your space and each adjacent space. So that sounds like a pretty quick way to rescue passengers. I'm assuming that's an important thing to do in the game to help them from, surviving all the deep ones. An unconventional leader. When you have to make a choice on a crisis, you may lose 1 of any resource instead. If you do not resolve either choice. So if there's, I guess it sounds like if you flip over one of these crisis cards and it's really bad, like both choices are really bad for you, you can just lose 1 resource to just not do either one. And it kind of talks about here how they can kind of cancel any dire consequences. However, if Kalani is a traitor, her experience can be used to sabotage a skill check at a crucial moment, so she can use this to manipulate it if she's evil. And while her ability to cancel a choice on the crisis may seem purely beneficial, all 4 of the Atlantica's resources are crucial. So you can use this just to burn a resource and get one of them low, purposely sabotaging that resource. And it's cool how in this article they discuss both what you can do as a good character and what you can do as a traitor. Now we have the first mate, Arun Singh, 2 influence, 2 strength, 1 observation. He has deck chief ability. Move to any deck space, then perform 1 action. Limit once per turn. So he seems like a very mobile type character, being able to go all over the place. And direct, of course. When you reveal as a traitor, if you are not in the brig, reset the travel track. So the travel track sounds like something important, and resetting it is probably not the best thing. Let's see what he has. The 6 shooter. Perform an attack against an enemy in your space. Add 2 to the die result, so a +2 to any attack. That sounds like a really good weapon attack. And self-sacrifice. Before any cards are added to a skill check during a crisis, if you are not in the brig, choose an outcome for that check instead of resolving it normally. If you do, you are defeated. Then remove this feat from the game. So he can, and I think it says it here, he can automatically decide the outcome of a skill check by just sending himself to the sickbay. So if there's a crucial check that needs to be done, he can just sacrifice himself to make the decision he wants. And likewise, the gun works against other humans as well, so he can use it to attack other players. and he could sacrifice himself to choose an outcome, so he can purposely choose to sabotage and fail a crucial task just to, jeopardize the ship. And he also has his mobility. That's gonna make him hard to like track down if he can move to any deck space he wants. The surgeon, Svetlana Gadry. She has 2 influence, 1 law, 2 observation. So we see not everybody has all the stats. Everybody has different stats. Like we saw, Kalani only has influence and will. He has influence, strength, and observation. And they have influence, observation, and lore. When a character would be defeated, you may discard 1 lore card from your hand to prevent that character from being defeated. So she can basically heal someone if they're going to be defeated. And if you reveal as a traitor, defeat 1 passenger in the supply or in any space. So automatically just kill 1 passenger, which we already have said is probably important based on Kalani's trumpet. She has the travel pharmacy. When a passenger in your space or an adjacent space would be defeated, you may rescue that passenger instead. If you do, either lose 1 food or remove this card from the game. So you can use your food resources to rescue passengers instead of having them get killed. And this is when a character or passenger would be defeated, you may prevent that character from being defeated. So this is a one-time, like, free heal. Now, however, if she is a traitor, she can keep this to only use it for herself. She could spam travel pharmacy to blow through the food resources, and she can then use medical intervention on herself, and then she can use conduct malpractices to kill somebody off. So you can see that she might be a hard traitor to kill because she can heal herself up. Pretty cool. I kind of like that. I kind of like the way that they play into the surgeon aspect for her character. The engineer, Jean Lavage. 1 influence, 2 strength, 2 observation. Okay. After a player uses the action of the boiler room to advance the travel track, which I'm assuming sounds like probably an objective, you may damage the ship to advance the travel track 1 additional space. And if you reveal as a traitor, you may damage an undamaged interior space of your choice. Let's see what she had. They have a toolkit. If there are no enemies in your space, repair your space. So she can automatically heal or fix any space that she's in. And full steam ahead, if you're in the boiler room, lose 1 fuel, then advance the travel track 2 spaces. So you can lose a fuel and move it 2 spaces forward. Here we go. Keep in mind that humans on the ship need only to safely reach Boston to win the game. So the travel track is like a win condition. And we've already seen that the first mate, he can reset the travel track completely. And she can advance it. But she does it in the cost of damaging the ship, as well as like blowing through fuel. Yeah, so like you can try and damage parts of the ship, and you can use the fuel supply quicker than you need to. So I think Jean could be a dangerous traitor. Even a Jean and Arjun as 2 traitors can make it impossible to do the travel. The Master at Arms, Jamie Snell. 3 strength, 2 will, not exactly the greatest stats, but 3 strength makes him pretty powerful. Perform the action of ability of one of your weapon items, then perform one action. So he gets a free action to basically shoot something. And then when you reveal as a traitor, if you are not in the brig, defeat each human and passenger in your space. So he can just kill everybody in his specific space when he's shown to be bad. He's got the repeating rifle. Perform an attack against an enemy in an adjacent space, including a water space. Add 1 to your die result. Anybody who's played Arkham, either the card game, the board game, Mansions of Madness, whatever, you know that being able to attack or target adjacent squares or spaces that the enemy might not be able to hit you back from is a real good benefit. So this guy sounds like he's your like killer, he's your miller, he's your fighter. Arrest order. Move a character in your space to the brig. Boom. This one time, arrest somebody. Let's see. However, if he's a traitor, this makes him very dangerous. He gets free attacks, a 3 strength, and he has adjacent shooting. That'd be hard to probably take him down. And he could arrest a good player, send them right to the bridge. I hope you enjoy all the Marvel Champions content, and be sure to subscribe and follow for some more Marvel Champions content. Thank you. Ultimate fighter that you don't really want to stop. The Apprentice. 2 will, 3 lore. So far, he's your highest lore character. If you're not in the brig, look at the top card of the spell deck and put it back on the top or bottom of the deck. Then perform 1 action. So he looks like he can either look or cycle the spell deck for you. When you reveal as a traitor, advance or retreat the ritual track up to 2 spaces. So it sounds like there's another track, a ritual track, which you can tamper with. He has the Elder Sign Amulet, which we've seen in other games. When you perform the action ability of a lore card, you may resolve its effect twice. So he gets to, I'm assuming, get a lot of value out of that card. Quick cast. If you are the keeper of the tome, resolve the top card of the spell deck. Then remove this feat from the game and perform 1 action. So he can get a free spell off and then still do something else. Yeah, so his Elder Sign gives him extra mileage, and he can quick cast for a free action. If he's a traitor, however, his occult training can be used to prevent humans because he can cycle the good spells down to the bottom. And his Elder Sign Amulet and quick cast means he can probably burst a lot of like spells, a lot of effects in 1 turn. He's like the purest mystic type captain that we've seen so far. The Mathematician, Beatrice Sharp. 1 influence, 2 observation, 2 lore. During the Mythos step, draw 1 additional Mythos card, place 1 of them on the bottom, and then resolve the other. So I guess when you draw your Mythos card, you can then gain a second one and choose the lesser of 2 evils, which one you want to deal with, which one you don't want to deal with. But if she's a traitor, choose 4 different water spaces, spawn a deep one in each of those spaces. So you can just make 4 enemies appear in the water right away. You have the Almanac. Before a die is rolled, you may discard an observation card to add that card's value to the die result. Limit once per die roll. And it looks like this is any die roll, not just like an observation one. So she can manipulate the numbers. and her feat is perfect number. When a die would be rolled, you may set that die to any side instead. So you can, for a one-time use, you can choose what number it's going to be. That's pretty powerful. And you can see it doesn't even need to be explained. Being able to manipulate the die rolls is a very powerful ability, and if it's a trader, they can choose to make a key roll a horrible number to automatically fail it. So that's actually pretty dangerous. The exile, Ishmael Marsh. He's born and raised in Innsmouth. The Marsh family I think is in Innsmouth lore, right? I believe they are. 2 lore, 2 strength, 1 will. Okay, another mix of a lore, mix of strength. Choose a monarch and discard 1 lore from your hand to roll a die. If the result plus the card's value is 7 or more, move the chosen monarch to the deep. Otherwise, you may move the chosen monarch to an adjacent water space. And then his ability is, when you reveal as a trader, activate each deep one in your space. He has the Book of Dagon. Move all deep ones in your space to a single adjacent space. Then perform 1 action. So I guess you can take the deep ones and shuffle them to a specific area. And his feat is choose another human and look at all of that player's loyalty cards. So he can essentially once per game check someone's loyalty and see if they are a human or if they are a hybrid. So let's see. The first order of Dagon allows him to move Father Dagon or Mother Hydra away from the ship. Not Madam Hydra. That's Marvel. Mother Hydra. So I'm guessing those are like the 2 big bads of the deep ones. So between the Book of Dagon and the First Oath of Dagon, he can move around the enemies to get them in the places where you want them to be. And he has that one-time use to check someone's loyalty to see if they can be trusted or if they are the even one. And obviously, as a trader, it doesn't take much. Like, you can, since you can move the enemies where you want, you can put them in bad places, and you can check someone with your feet, and you could lie about it. And then you could just say that person is a traitor, or they're not a traitor, but they really are a traitor. The Jinx, Edmund Mallory. He's got 1 on everything. After a die is rolled or re-rolled, you may discard 1 skill card to re-roll that die. So basically, his ability is just re-rolling dice. And if you're not in the brig, draw the top card of the Mythos deck, resolve that card's fail effect, or one of that card's choices that does not include a skill check. So basically, the minute he reveals as a trader, you get a free Mythos activation basically. And he has Lucky Ring. After calculating the total of a skill check, you may increase that skill check by 2. If you do and it passes, shuffle 2 treachery cards into the Chaos deck. So that means that he can re-roll cards with his ability, add a 2 to it. I'm assuming adding treachery cards is probably not the best thing you want to add, but that works. And Uncanny Fortune allows you to, if you draw a Mythos card, just end that Mythos card and not have to deal with it. Deal with another one. And it says here, if he's a trader, because he has everything, he can do any skill check and he can fail any skill check for you. And He can use Fortunate Son to purposely sabotage rolls. And he can even draw a much worse Mythos card with this one. So he has ways to really mess around with the game. Not my kind of character personally, but pretty cool. The Stowaway, Samira Dula. 1 lore, 2 observation, 2 will. If you have 4 or fewer items, draw 1 item card, and you may give one of those items to another human in your space. And when you reveal as a trader, choose a human in your space, move 1 item from that human to your play area. So you can steal an item, or you can give it an item. Our ability is Starbuck, which is a dog. You may remove this card from the game to prevent yourself from being defeated. Perform an attack action against an enemy in your space, then perform 1 action. So the dog gives you a free attack, or you can sacrifice him to not die. And then while equipped, after calculating the total of a skill check, if you're not in the brig, you may increase or decrease that total by 1 for each item. So the more items she has, the stronger this ability is. So that's actually a pretty interesting ability that she has. So she's all about items, all about collecting items, and she can, she can get items. She's your inventory person, really. And the more items she has, the stronger this ability becomes. So that's pretty cool. It's almost like a Bob Jenkins, kind of like from what we saw from Edge of the Earth. So with that, that is all the different characters that come in this game. We have 10 different characters, all that are quite diverse and quite have a very different set of abilities. Right away, I can say some of them look really cool. Like Arjun seems really cool to me. Svetlana probably could be interesting. I think Arjun, Jean, even the Beatrice. I like Ishmael as well. I feel like that could be a cool one to really play around with. And the one thing I really like about all this is, and they mentioned it in the initial article, is that these are all unique characters. They are not the same characters that we've seen in every version of Arkham Horror game that has existed prior to this. So it's almost like a fresh look or a fresh feel to the Arkham games, but still having that flavor that we are so familiar from an Arkham type based game. I think that's a really cool way to do that, but still keep the game fresh. I'm excited for it. I think this is gonna be a really cool game, and I'm really looking to it. Like, I like the theme, so theme plus the cool gameplay. I think this game is gonna be a big hit. I know it is available to pre-order already. I know they have it over here for $80 is the price. So definitely gonna check that out, pre-order it, and let me know what you guys think in the comments about different characters. Are there any characters that jumped out as you as potential favorites that you particularly liked? And if there are, let me know. So thank you guys for watching this video, and hope you guys enjoy the rest of my Arkham Horror based type videos. Thank you.